My fiancé called it a collaboration. $25,000 meant for my dream firm. I traced the wires, straight to her ex, a photographer with charm and no receipts. While she posed for sunsets, I collected every invoice, every lie. I canceled the lease, froze the joint account, and vanished before she could explain. She called me cold. But in court, when I showed what else I found, even her mother looked away. I used to think trust was built like architecture. Layer by layer, detail by detail, everything aligned with purpose. I was wrong. Turns out trust is more like glass. It holds until the exact second it doesn't. It started with a joint savings account, $25,000. Every dollar earned through late nights at the firm, freelance rendering gigs, and quiet sacrifices. My fiancée, Mia, said she believed in the dream. A boutique design firm, our own space, clean lines, natural light, something real. Mia is a creative too, not an architect like me, but she had an eye for visuals, photography, branding, aesthetics. She was always the one who could make a mood board feel like a manifesto. We met at a gallery opening downtown. She complimented my sketches. I laughed and said she had better lines. We clicked fast. The kind of relationship that feels cinematic at first. Shared playlists, joint Pinterest boards, almond milk lattes at 10 p.m. She moved into my place 6 months in. We talked about the firm constantly, what it would look like, how we'd run it, what kind of legacy we wanted to leave. She said, "We're not just building something for us, we're building something that matters." I believed her. We agreed on the account together. Both our names. One goal. For a while everything looked good. Until it didn't. It was a Tuesday morning when I first noticed something off. I was paying off a supplier invoice and opened the joint account like I always did, and paused. A $7,500 transfer, labeled Creative Deposit LC. I didn't recognize the vendor. LC? I searched it. Nothing came up. I called Mia. She answered like everything was normal. "Hey, babe. Hey, did you move money for something called LC?" A pause. Not long. Just enough to register. "Oh yeah, that's Luca, my old friend, the photographer. We're working on a brand concept together. It's for a promo campaign we're building for your firm." "My firm?" I asked. "Yeah, it's a surprise. I didn't want to ruin it. Trust me, it's going to be so cool." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. Luca. Her ex. I knew about him. Briefly dated, 2 years before me. She always said it was immature and over, that he wasn't serious. But apparently now he was serious enough to get $7,500 of our savings. Still, I said nothing more that day, just, "Okay, thanks for letting me know." But my mind was spinning. That night, Mia came home smiling, brought dinner, Thai food, my favorite. Kissed me like nothing had changed, and maybe for her, nothing had. But something had cracked inside me. Over the next few days, I started paying closer attention. She was out late more often. Strategy sessions, networking events, photo shoots. She used to text me updates, little hearts, photos of her latte art. Now, silence. Or the occasional swamped, "love you." One night, while brushing her phone off the table, I saw a glimpse of a calendar app. The entry said, "Luca S.B., Thurs son." No emoji, no explanation. I asked her casually, "Hey, what's in Santa Barbara this weekend?" She blinked. "Oh, just a retreat thing for artists. I might go, last minute." I nodded, cool. She didn't ask if I wanted to come. That night, I lay awake next to her, staring at the ceiling. I remembered something my mentor once told me. In design and in life, details don't lie. People do. I got out of bed, opened my laptop, and typed a search I never thought I'd type. Forensic accountant for small business Los Angeles. I didn't want to believe she was lying, but I needed to know what I was building on. Because dreams can't stand on cracked foundations, and I was about to find out just how deep the damage went. I met Julian Burke the following Tuesday, in a quiet corner of a coffee shop 2 blocks from my office. He was a forensic accountant, mid-40s, calm, clipped voice, the kind of guy who noticed everything but said nothing unless it mattered. He reviewed our joint account statements silently for a while. Then he slid them back across the table. "You didn't lose your money. You were misled. That's worse. It wasn't just $7,500. There were 4 more transfers, $4,000, $3,200, $1,700, and $2,300, each to different shell vendors. Luca Creative LLC, Pinhole Project, SB Visual Retreat, and West Coast Frame Collective. None of them were real businesses, but all of them linked to one IP address, Luca's. He showed me a photo from an open-source credit card trail. Luca had booked a luxury Airbnb in Santa Barbara beachfront. Same weekend Mia claimed she had that artist retreat. Her name was listed as a guest. I sat back in my chair. My heart didn't race. It didn't need to. It settled. Hard, like concrete drying under the surface of my ribs. Julian looked at me. "Do you want to pursue legal action, or just recover what you can?" I didn't answer immediately, because something deeper clicked. In my mind, it wasn't just the money, it was the narrative. Mia always framed herself as the supportive fiancée, the visionary, the builder alongside me. She made mood boards and used phrases like, "our empire." She said things like, "I'm not just your partner, I'm your foundation." But foundations don't fracture like this. I started remembering things backward. Her pushing to open the joint account in the first place. Her insisting we use her friend for branding. Her redirecting me away from the financials because you've got enough stress with clients. I realized I had been groomed to look the other way. But not anymore. I authorized Julian to compile a full report. Every transaction, every name, I want to know exactly how deep this goes. Over the next few days, he delivered. Luca and Mia weren't just collaborating. They were building a project of their own, photography packages for social impact visuals, targeted at nonprofits. But they hadn't delivered any work. Instead, they'd used the funds for $6,200 in hotel and travel expenses, $3,500 in equipment, all billed under Luca's name, $4,800 for a photo exhibit in San Diego, where Mia gave a speech about reclaiming creative truth. Not once was my name mentioned. Not once was my firm credited. And then came the worst part. Julian found emails between Mia and Luca. She'd logged into a shared Google Drive from our home IP. She'd used our Wi-Fi to upload pitch decks, invoices, and even behind-the-scenes images of her and Luca, on the beach, wine in hand. The subject line read, "How to tell Noah without telling him." Inside was a bullet point plan. Keep it vague. He won't question branding talk. If he asks about Santa Barbara, mention meditation. He never checks the transfers unless it's over 10K. Just smile a lot. He melts. They thought I was naive, soft, blind, but I wasn't blind. I was focused. And now that focus had shifted from trust to truth. I didn't confront her. Didn't slam doors or scream or throw things. I did what she never expected. I prepared. I withdrew my half of the remaining funds, opened a solo account, changed every password, removed myself from the apartment lease, contacted a lawyer about filing charges for misappropriation of business capital, and I packed my things, quietly, deliberately. By the time she returned from another shoot, our shared apartment looked like an echo chamber, only one note left on the kitchen counter. "I trusted you with my dream. You gave it to someone who made a career out of taking. I'm done building anything with you." She didn't call that night, she didn't text, but her silence said everything, because even lies have a rhythm, and Mia's was breaking. The morning after I left, I checked our shared email account one last time. Mia had no clue I'd seen the truth. Subject lines flooded the inbox like nothing had happened. Lunch with Luca, confirmed. Brand colors for Coastal Dream campaign. Noah's name off the proposal? That last one stopped me. She wasn't just spending my money. She was erasing me from the vision I created. Julian forwarded me a copy of the full deck they were pitching to an art incubator. It had been submitted 3 days ago. Logo, Coastal Dream. Visuals partners, Mia Halbridge and Luca Rivera. Mission, empowering oceanfront storytelling for marginalized voices. Budget, $25,000 startup seed, already self-funded. Self-funded. They were referring to my emergency business savings, the exact amount I had worked 18-hour days for, the same money I skipped birthdays and bar tabs to protect. Worse, the deck had photos I'd taken, of architectural renderings, and models I built, repackaged as space studies by our design consultant. I was a footnote in my own life. I remember staring at my screen in disbelief, until my phone vibrated. Mia. Text. Hey babe, we need to talk soon. Let's not blow this out of proportion. I've been under pressure. Can we meet? No apology, no panic, just a subtle reminder that I wasn't supposed to know, that she still thought I was in the dark. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened a blank document and began preparing a formal report. Asset misappropriation, financial fraud, unlawful use of business materials, intentional omission of a business partner. Julian reviewed everything and passed it to the DA's office. The wheels were turning now. This wasn't about a breakup. This was a case. At 4:12 p.m. that day, I got an email from Mia's mother. Subject, this isn't like her. She begged me to reconsider, said Mia was misguided, confused, and creative souls often cross lines they don't mean to. That Mia had always struggled with boundaries, and that maybe I was being too logical. Too logical? I laughed out loud for the first time in weeks. It was the sound of something snapping back into place. I typed a single response. Please advise your daughter to find legal representation. This is no longer personal. That night, I checked Mia's Instagram. She had posted a photo of her and Luca, backs turned, arms linked, standing on a pier. Caption, sometimes you have to follow the waves, even if they wash something away. I didn't comment, but someone else did. A mutual friend, Becca, wrote, did you tell Noah before or after using his money? It was the first crack in her carefully curated image. The comments started piling up. Whispers in the inbox, screenshots being shared, friends quietly switching sides. The public performance was unraveling, and still, she hadn't seen me coming, because I didn't post, didn't text, didn't even breathe her name out loud. I just worked. Filed the paperwork, met with legal counsel, prepared evidence exhibits, and focused on something she never truly believed I'd do without her, launching my firm. She thought I needed her to build something beautiful. But the most beautiful part was this, watching her facade collapse under the weight of her own lies, brick by brick, while I walked away untouched. 3 days after I filed charges, I walked into my office and found Mia sitting in the waiting area, hair perfect, white blouse, eyes red. She stood as soon as she saw me. Noah, you didn't have to make this public. My receptionist froze. I held up a hand. It's okay, I said. I'll handle it. She followed me into the conference room like we were still partners. Like I hadn't just discovered she'd stolen from me, lied to my face, and built something on my back with a man she once said was her mistake. I didn't offer her a seat. She sat anyway. I get that you're hurt, she began. But you blindsided me. I was trying to do something for both of us. Luca has connections. We were building visibility. With my money, I said. She blinked. Our money. I opened my folder and slid a stack of papers across the table. Bank transfers, IP logs, emails, and photos. Her signature on each wire. Luca's name on the retreat check-ins. Receipts for hotel room service billed to my card. This is theft, Mia. Her face flickered, somewhere between shock and practiced disbelief. You're really going through with this? She whispered. Over a misunderstanding? I leaned in. You misused funds, lied, and you knew it. That's not a misunderstanding. That's fraud, she stood. You're destroying my future. No, I said. You did that the moment you chose him. She stormed out, slamming the glass door so hard it echoed. But it wasn't over. That night, Mia and her mother showed up at my apartment. I had moved into a loft over a bookstore in Echo Park, a quiet place where no one knew my name. They pounded on the door. "You need to stop this, Noah," her mother shouted. "This will ruin her reputation." Mia was crying now. Her mascara was running, her hair unbrushed. I'd never seen her look that uncomposed. "Please," she said. "We were just trying to create something real." "You did," I said. "You created the perfect case study in betrayal." I handed them a manila envelope. Inside was a copy of the DA's filing notice, formal charges, a scheduled hearing date. Her mother turned pale. "You'd humiliate her in court?" "No," I said. "I'm just telling the truth. If that's humiliating, that's not on me." They left. No more pleas. No more explanations. Just silence, and the sound of walls finally collapsing around the fantasy they'd built. 2 weeks later, I sat in court. Mia, in a beige suit, avoided my gaze. Her attorney whispered furiously, while Luca was nowhere to be seen. Word had it he fled to Mexico the night the court subpoenas hit his email. I presented everything. Bank statements, Mia's emails from our Wi-Fi IP, Julian's report, even the Instagram. Captions that lined up perfectly with travel dates. Mia tried to claim emotional pressure, that she was creatively manipulated by her ex. But the judge interrupted. "Miss Halbridge, this isn't about heartbreak. It's about breach of trust, intentional deception, and financial theft." The court ordered full restitution and placed Mia under probation for 18 months. Her business license was suspended. She cried. But I didn't, because there was nothing left to feel. I walked out of the courthouse and into sunlight, and for the first time in months, I felt free. After the sentencing, the news spread faster than I expected. A small column in a local design blog wrote, "Rising creative duo faces. Collapse after fraud suit. Funds stolen from architect's startup plan." Then the real headlines hit. Photographer flees amid fraud scandal. Architect takes legal action against fiancé and ex. Design theft or creative theft? People love a scandal, especially one with love, lies, and money. And this one had all three. Mia's social media accounts went dark overnight. Her once buzzing Instagram, mood boards, sunsets, fake deep quotes, vanished. The post of her and Luca on the pier, gone. Her brand, erased. Not because I asked, because the world started asking questions she couldn't answer. Her followers weren't stupid. One user posted a side-by-side of her travel pics and the bank statements I'd exposed in court. Caption: "Love is blurry. Theft is not." That post got 11,000 likes in 2 hours. Even her friends, people I used to eat brunch with, started pulling away. Some reached out to me quietly. "I'm so sorry. We had no idea. Do you need help promoting your firm?" And Mia? She moved back in with her mother in Palisades. Her art clients canceled projects. The gallery pulled her name from their lineup. One of her digital sponsors even sued to recoup unused promo funds she had reallocated to her coastal dream scam. Her mother sent me another email. It read, "I hope someday you can forgive her. She was raised to believe dreams had shortcuts." I didn't reply, because I didn't need closure from the people who enabled her. Meanwhile, Julian helped me recover a large portion of what was left in the joint account, about $14,700. Not everything, but enough to start. I used it to register my new firm, Studio Northline, a clean name, a sharp logo, a promise to myself. I didn't make announcements. I didn't post an expose thread. I just filed my paperwork, built a new site, and got to work. The first client came from a LinkedIn message, a real estate firm looking for someone to redesign their urban lofts. They'd read the article. They respected how I'd handled it. "Quiet strength speaks louder than lawsuits," they wrote. And I realized something. In a world obsessed with telling your side of the story, sometimes the most powerful move is building something undeniable, without them. I kept my head down. Worked double time, pitched solo, stayed late. Drawing floor plans while the city glowed outside my window. Every detail was mine. Every cent, earned. Every sketch, honest. And yet, the ghosts of what happened still lingered. Not pain, but clarity. I started mentoring younger architects, told them about contracts, financial boundaries, emotional blind spots. I didn't mention Mia by name, but they always understood. Because betrayal leaves fingerprints, and when you learn to trace them, you never get fooled again. One night, I walked past a cafe Mia and I used to sit in. She was there, alone, hood up, notebook in hand. She didn't see me, and I didn't stop. Because when someone burns your blueprint, you don't rebuild on the ashes. You start somewhere new, and this time, the foundation was mine. 6 months after the court ruling, I stood at the edge of a rooftop in West Hollywood, staring at the steel skeleton of my first major project. 5-story mixed-use building, residential above, retail below, clean geometry, modern facade. Sunlight bounced off the beams like it was blessing the new foundation. I ran my fingers along a support column. The crew was gone for the day. Silence echoed louder than drills ever did. This was mine, not co-owned, not borrowed, not shared with someone who'd gut my future with a pretty smile and a forged invoice. I built this without her. The silence didn't bother me anymore. In fact, I craved it. It gave me room to remember, without hurting. I remembered her voice. "We're a team, Noah." I remembered the shared coffees, the late-night wine talks about vision. I remembered thinking love was a kind of blueprint. Turns out, it was more like a demolition order, sneaky, quiet, and final. But I also remembered what came after. A new investor had reached out 2 weeks after the case closed. Her name was Eliza Grant, CEO of an urban sustainability fund. She saw my name in the article and was impressed by how I handled the fallout. "Most people get bitter," she said. "You got better." She gave me a shot, greenlighting 2 buildings under the U Northline banner. She said something I'll never forget. "Your story was the pitch. Your silence was the proof." The first thing I bought wasn't a fancy watch or a new car. It was a second-hand drafting table, mahogany finish, slight wobble, initials carved into the edge. I liked that it wasn't perfect. Because I wasn't perfect either. But I was real. I didn't see Mia again after that glimpse outside the cafe. But I heard through the grapevine that she was still trying to reboot her brand. She'd changed her name on social media, tried to rebrand as a minimalist wellness coach. It didn't stick. Turns out, the internet doesn't forget when your ex-fiancé turns over evidence that dismantles your digital empire. Her mother lost the beach condo. The legal costs gutted their family savings. And Luca, still gone. No extradition, no apology. Just a ghost with a passport and my money in his suitcase. But karma doesn't use boarding passes. It waits. Meanwhile, I was finally waking up without dread in my chest. No glances over the shoulder. No second-guessing. Texts. Just breath, blueprints, and momentum. One night, as I walked into a small industry gala, press pass clipped to my jacket, I saw an old mutual friend. She paused, blinked, and then smiled. I heard what happened. "You're the guy who exposed." "Her, right?" I laughed once, sharp and honest. "No," I said. "I'm the guy who kept building after." She nodded. "Even better." By the end of the night, 3 new business cards sat in my pocket. One of them came with a handwritten note on the back. "People, remember the ones who survived the fire without becoming the smoke." I still kept the file, Mia's transfers, the photos, Julian's reports, tucked away in a drawer, never opened again. Not for vengeance, not for nostalgia, but as a reminder that dreams can be stolen, unless you learn to guard them. I now teach an online course for young architects. The final lesson isn't about design or load-bearing walls. It's titled, "Protect Your Name Like It's Your Foundation." Because I did. And now, I don't just build for clients, I build for myself. A year. To the day since I left Mia, I stood in my finished office, the flagship location of Studio Northline. Floor-to-ceiling glass. Concrete polished like a mirror. My logo etched in steel by the front desk. The smell of sawdust still lingered faintly, like the memory of every hard moment that brought me here. I brewed a coffee. Black. No sugar. Just like I used to make it for her. Funny thing about pain, it dulls, but it never really leaves. You just learn to rearrange your life around it. That morning, I opened an envelope that had been slipped under the door. No return address. Inside? A photograph, Mia and Luca, smiling, tan, somewhere tropical. Date stamped 7 months ago, on the back. We were more than your mistake. You just couldn't see it. I stared at it for maybe 10 seconds, then tossed it in the shredder. Closure wasn't a conversation, it was a choice. One I'd already made. That same day I had a final meeting with Eliza and 2 venture partners. They were expanding. Wanted me to design 3 community housing complexes downtown. Total value, $3.2 million. I signed the deal with a steady hand. You'd think the past would stop knocking once you're successful, but it doesn't. It changes. Costumes. Later that week I got a message from Mia's sister on LinkedIn. She's been diagnosed with anxiety. Says she's sorry. Says you were the only real one. Wants you to know she misses the way you drew things with your hands. I didn't respond. What could I say? That I forgave her. That she broke something, and I had to become someone new just to survive it? No. She didn't need my reply. She needed distance. And I gave it to her. Instead, I focused on something real. We held our grand opening for Studio Northline the next month. 57 guests showed. Clients, investors, former professors, even 2 young students I now mentor. I gave a short speech. This firm was born from loss, but it grew from truth. If you're here today, it means you chose integrity, and I don't take that lightly. Afterward, a woman approached me, mid-50s, smart blazer, fierce eyes. She ran a nonprofit for displaced youth. Said she wanted to partner on a project. Creative housing pods for teens aging out of foster care. You look like someone who builds with purpose, she said. I used to build with people who lied, I told her. She smiled. That's why you're better now. That night, as I locked up, I noticed the lights reflecting off the glass walls. The city moved outside like a silent film, endless, alive, unknowable. I took a photo, posted it with one line. She stole the blueprint. I built the skyline, and the comments flooded in. Not pity, not gossip. Respect, a former client wrote. You taught me it's possible to start again and win, because that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't destroy you, it reveals you, and if you're lucky, it frees you.